Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever it is for you. I'm Cyclo, this is Let's Play Train Simulator, and we are going to start today on the Cajon Pass. I feel this is a good place to go next, because we are going to continue using this ES44AC, but I figure we might as well get the basic model of this out of the way and move on to getting the other models that we have of the ES44AC, which are all the air brakes model on the other route. So let's get the ones that have the basic one out of the way on this route, because this is literally one of the only places that this train gets used in this format, and it's a much simpler drive than we're used to on the other version of that we drove on Sherman Hill, and the one that we'll see later on Canadian Mountain Passes and on many other routes as well. They're all the air brake model, and I guess they get better over time from what I've been hearing as well, though I don't know how accurate that is. Anyway, we're going to do several scenarios in this run on Cajon Pass. We're not going to do the scenarios that are not marked with a check mark, so like Be Prepared and the Cajon Pass. They're all the ST42 scenarios, and I actually am debating, when I do come back to do those scenarios, I'm debating doing something special with them, because I am going to be introducing the ST40 at a later time, and I'm going to be showing the basic model of that as well at some point. But I'm actually debating doing something really special with this one, because I have to see what the scenarios are. I'm going to probably give them all initial recording, and if I like a certain scenario, I might do something special with it. So we'll see what happens with that when the time comes. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and drive these ES44AC scenarios. I'm going to start with Relief Freight and Barstow Backlog. These are the two, or was it Barstow Backlog? Yeah, I think it was Barstow Backlog. So these are the two tutorial-style scenarios. And because of the two tutorial-style scenarios, I mean, basically, you just do a very quick drive in each of them, the exact same scenario. We're going to get both out of the way right now. Let's start on Relief Freight. I'm going to be doing, like I said, all these ones have a check mark on. Slow Climb South at some point. The Splitter will come. That's a really long one that actually is close to the 2 hours that you see listed. Thorn Reversal, just about Hellenberg to Victorville, something in that range. So not quite as far as the Aravi East, which goes from Barstow to Victorville. Then that Slow Climb South is the one over the Cajon Pass itself. So we're going to, and Splitter goes the other direction. So that's synopsis, some of the scenarios you're going to be seeing here. But you can see the description for these is different. So the one we're doing first is Relief Freight. You are a relief driver called in to cover an illness at San Bernardino Yard. A rank of assorted cars has been assembled to which you will need to couple and haul onto the main line heading north along the Cajon Pass. 20 minutes, easy. And I think I just read the actual intro text box, so I'll try not to duplicate that. Anyway, I'll see you in the scenario. We're going to do a 2-for-1 special today. See you at the map. Okay, so we're in San Bernardino. You see we're getting a notice to use F1 to check our tasks, and I just guess the text box didn't duplicate here, so I'm happy about that. We're driving our black train here. I don't know which other DLC has this black train. I'm trying to figure out if this is Union Pacific skin or what this is. I'm not sure what skin this is. But anyway, we are going to do as we're told. We're going to uncouple these coal hoppers here. So that leaves that behind. Let's move the reverser forward. Let's move the train up so that we don't accidentally uncouple to them again. And then we're going to go ahead and let the train come to a stop after we move forward slightly. So there we go. That's all I need to do. And I make sure that we're not going to couple to that. Why am I still moving? That is not... Oh, I'm on a downhill, that's why. Okay, so I'm on a downhill, I'm still moving, so I'm coming to a stop now. Let's turn that off. Let's get into the 2D map and take a look at our next task. We are going literally right next door. So we're the red train right there. We just dropped those other cars off. We're going to couple to the cars up here. It says SanB Crane 1, but if you look underneath the text here, it actually does say Yard 8 here, and then Yard 9, of course, is right behind it. Not labeled. There's Yard 9, there's Yard 10. So this is Yard 8 right here. You just can't see the text behind the prompt because, well, naturally, it didn't want to show up properly behind the text. Like, that's one thing I don't like, where the assignment text was saying what yard was covering the yard need to go to. That's something I don't really like about the setup here. But in any case, that's where we're going. We're going to go one track over to this train right here. That's the train we're going to haul out. We have to get out of here, so naturally we need to connect to the track first. So we're now connected to the track. We can now pull ahead and leave and get ourselves moving on the track here. Let's get out of here and into the cab. Let's turn on the bell. I'm not going to keep that bell on. That is a very annoying sound. I'm done with it. There we go. That'll do. You can see the incessant radio transmission here. I'm not sure if you can actually turn the radio off. Nope, can't. I tried the R button, so I don't think that does anything with the radio here. In any case, let's move ahead here. Now, I'm going to double check my track for a second here, because there's something about this I'm not sure. There's a train coming in, by the way. You can hear it. We'll take a look at it in a second. I want to make sure I got my track fully set here. I do not. Oh. Wait a minute. Oh, that's why. Okay. I knew something was wrong. I knew something was wrong. The train that went by over here, by the way, was not here anymore. Oops, didn't want to do that. I think the train that went by is all the way down here now. Oh, the train coming in. Train coming in, actually. There you go. That guy's coming in right now. Going a little too slow now, so let's get ourselves moving again. The downhill is not as steep now, so we're going to actually have to apply some throttle ourselves here to keep ourselves going, it looks like now. Now 55 ahead means nothing as of yet, so I'm not going to worry about it. So I'm going to go ahead and put the brakes on now. You see the train that we just saw back there coming along? So we're going to be following this switch back, I believe. So I should have hit it now, and the track should be set to take us back into the yard we want to be at, which is right there. So let's go ahead and take the brakes off, put the reverser in reverse first of all. That might help. And then we'll put the throttle in the other direction. And away we go. So I'm going to go ahead and uncouple from the train here. You can see my driver in there. So I'm going to go ahead and get out of the train here. And we're going to go ahead and just hang out over here at the cars that we're connecting to. We're going to watch the train come roaring in. So let's just put some heavy throttle on there. We're going to just go ahead and rush in here, because why not? Let's just have some fun with this. Don't worry, I will take the brakes down. Like now. So 6% brake application should do for now. I actually thought I was coming in faster than I actually was, so I'm taking the brakes off and I'm going to come in a little slowly again. Still a little quicker than I thought I was, but... So let's put a little brakes on again. We're getting closer. Coming in a little too slowly now, so put some throttle back on. That'll do. And hitting the brakes. Fantastic. And I'm not even reading the message because I'm just moving forward. I know that's all I'm doing at this point. Your train is now assembled, ready to go. You need to exit the yard through the east exit. Again, check your switches and keep within the yard speeds. Roger. So let's keep within the yard speeds and check our exit. You'll see the switches are not all set. We actually have to set this guy, and then we can leave. So that's what we're doing. Let's center back on me. And next time I come to the new map, I'll be on the train. You can see our train is taking off here. This is all our train back here. Let's get in the cab. So here's the annoying part of driving a train. Staying at yard speed. So I'll stop the throttle right there at about 14.5. That's good enough for now. We're going to make our way out here. Did he just tell me twice he needs to tail through the TMT? Yeah. So we're maintaining a slow enough yard speed here. I'll put a tiny bit of throttle back on, because why not? And that's a good enough reason, in my opinion. If I say why not, it means we're going to do it. So the track that we just saw that train going down appears to have a yellow signal now. Either that or it's the red. I think it was actually the first track, so it might be the red. The other track has a yellow. Those are not our signals, so we don't care. So again, going under one of these major roads in San Bernardino here. San Bernardino has a few roads crossing the tracks here. This is based on the actual map, by the way. The actual map of San Bernardino does resemble what you see in the route here. But keep in mind, this is circa 2006. So it is very, very old now. Might be 2008, 2009. In fact, something I'll talk about later on in one of the climbs over Cajon Pass, I talked about the fact that the tunnels that you see on this route, they don't exist anymore. And there's actually another track that we have to talk about. So I'll talk about that in a future scenario. I've already recorded that scenario, and not really too much to some of these scenarios, but they probably would be harder if we had the Sherman Hill equipment on them. But I'm used to the Sherman Hill equipment too. Well done, you're now clear of the yard. Continue your journey to the marker SanBar track 1, where you need to stop to allow a priority train to pass. A priority train, ladies and gentlemen. We have to stop and wait for a priority train. Make sure you wait for that priority train. Speaking of priority trains, hello. I didn't see who that was. Hello. Is that our priority train? So I'm waiting for the opportunity to get up to the 30 here. I think when we get to that orange mark, that's around where we can start going up to 30. At least I hope that's the case. We're losing speed way too quickly with no throttle, so I have to keep a little throttle on now. And no, the orange mark's gone. We're not at 30 yet, so it's not very far from the 55. We can actually start doing that. There's the 30. I knew it was coming. So we're going to jump the speed up a little bit here. Just make this, slightly more challenging for us. And just to make this super fun, I'm going to make it a point to try to stop right on the marker that we are given. So the marker is about 0.7 of a mile away. I'm going to try to stop right on that marker, but I am going to go up to speed in the meantime and actually come slowing down. So I'm going to try to stop on that marker at SanBar track 1. As in right at the front of the marker. I want the wheels of the engine on the marker. So at the signal, I'm going to start slowing down. That's our yellow, so the next signal will be red wherever that signal is. And And let's put a little bit of brakes on now just to see how it responds. Responding a little too well, so I'm just going to let the throttle, the speed come off on its own right now. You notice the graphics loading oddly in distance there. This route seems to have some weird graphics loading issues. You can actually have some lag coming south into San Bernardino as well by the time you get to West 9th Street. Might even be a little bit before that you start having the weird loading glitches. I actually had, even about halfway through the route after the Cajon Pass going north, I've actually seen a train completely rip off the engine, and I go to retrieve the train and it just suddenly crashes into me. You'll see this on a blooper reel, I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to put the brakes back on. I need to slow down if I want to hit that marker precisely. I don't need to necessarily hit it right on where I'm aiming to hit it, but I want to. We're down to 8 now. So you see I'm giving the train lots of space to slow down. That way I can stop it exactly where I want to. Not all of my stops are going to be this smooth, so don't expect them to be all that smooth. There's the marker, so I'm done here. I don't need to go any further. And if I were to continue on, you will eventually see a red signal ahead. I don't think we're going to get to see it as we drive along here on the route. We're just going to wait for the scenario to end. Whee! So all these roads coming out of San Bernardino. There you go. And the scenario is completed. And we're being told try the other scenarios on the route. Well noted. And that's the end of our journey here. So we can't go any further. Anyway, let's go ahead and get out of relief freight. We're going to get into our other scenario, which is Barstow Backlog. It's a similar thing, but we're going to go ahead and take a look at the Barstow side. I'm going to mix it up now. We're going to take a look at the Barstow side of the yard in just a moment. So let's get back to the standard scenarios, and I'll see you in that scenario in just a minute. And here we are at Barstow Backlog. We're going to go ahead and load it right now. So we're going to get the same note about seeing the assignment assistant here. Welcome to Barstow, blah, 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 blah. Disconnect these cars that you see here. Like that. Move the train up so you don't recouple to it, because this actually has happened to me while doing a test drive of this scenario, as silly as it sounds. So we're going to make sure we don't recouple to the cars here. So let's go ahead and get ourselves set up here. In fact, I'm going to just keep moving because we've got a ways to go here. We have to check our switches. Where we're going to be going is, again, right next to where we are right now. We're going up to track 14, which is, you can actually see the label this time. Track 14, there's the train. And that's where we're going. So we're going to go ahead and connect. Well, the switches are all set for us right now. Perfect. I like it. Let's get in the cab. Let's check all the switches, actually, because we're eventually going to have to leave the yard. And as you can see, we're actually set to, strangely, leave the yard. We're not allowed to leave the yard yet because that's set against us, obviously. But we could leave we could leave the yard if we wanted to, or we could just switch and head over to here. So all these switches are set in our favor. We are going to come down to this switch. Once we get here, we're going to switch it back. Just like that. So that's what we're watching. We have a little further to go to get there. Well, we have a lot further to go. Yard speeds, ladies and gentlemen. Yard speeds. I think there's another train that's actually leaving over in the other direction here. Yeah, there he is. There's a train over there that's on his way out. 1305 standard freight. Now, I want to take a quick look at the map to show you what's going on with him. He's down here. Notice where he's going. So we can normally play with the switches anywhere we want to that we don't need. We can obviously play with that, but if we try to play with this switch, you're not allowed to. We can even come all the way down here and we can play with this switch like we want to. But as soon as we come down to these switches, you're not allowed to. You're not allowed to. So, yeah. The switches are typically going to be locked by an AI train. And it's set so that you can't, it's set like that so you can't accidentally derail an AI train and, you know, be malicious and do what you want to around the yard. So, if you see a junction set against you like that, chances are you're not going to be using that junction. If you're not allowed to change it, you're not going to be using that junction most likely. Don't worry about it. Don't even bother with it. Find another route. Because there's probably something coming that way and you don't want to be on that track when it does. Now there is the odd scenario, and I think Pennsylvania Railroad actually has one of these, where you actually do have, there's another train going by, look at that. Pennsylvania Railroad I think has another scenario where you actually have, or a scenario where you actually have to set the junction against the train. But you have to wait for the train to go by and then set the junction. So you literally have, if you're early, you're sitting there for a couple minutes waiting for this train. And if you're late, well, you can just set the junction. Beauty. Oh, don't go that fast. We don't need to go that fast. Hit the brakes. Hit the brakes now. Okay, take the brakes off. I'm coming too slow. That's the switch I want to hit. Alright. Little more, please. Little more. Attaboy. Little more. Little more. Little more, please. Little more. I'm just going to let it coast to a stop because that's perfect. And there we go. I'm going to hit that. Reverse in the other direction. And backwards, s'il vous plaît. We are now progressing nicely. I will get back, and once again, like in the other scenario, I'm going to go ahead and stand on a railroad track, because why not? We're going to come over here. We're going to stand on a railroad track. Whee! We are standing on a railroad track, ladies and gentlemen. Let's put some speed on so we can... Oh, wow. The throttle was actually still on, so I'm coming in at 12 right now. And I'm gaining speed, so naturally I think you can assume I'm coming in a little hot here. Let's go ahead and put little brakes on. A little bit more of a challenge for backing up because you actually gain speed as you're backing up. So you have to actually watch yourself here. So I'm down to 10 now. The train is not coming into the picture yet, which is very unfortunate. Where is it? Oh, I'm so far away. Let's take the brakes completely off, please. In fact, I'll put a little throttle on just to speed this process up. And for no other reason, speed up the process. I want to speed it up. I don't know why I'm doing a old man voice there. That wasn't even an old man voice. Brakes, please. Now we need to hit the brakes. Hit them a little hard now. I'm taking them back off for a moment. A little more brakes. I might have taken off too much at once here, but I'm going to gain speed on the downhill, so I'm not too concerned about it. Let's go ahead and get a better view of the train coupling. That's the more important thing for now. That give you a good view of the train coupling. Why not? You can hear the noise, so I'm putting a little more brakes on. That'll do. Coming in good and slow at this point. Maybe too slow, so I'll put a tiny bit of throttle. Oh, there I am. Never mind. Don't need throttle. Let's hide that for a second. There we go. Your train is now assembled and ready to go. You need to exit the yard through... Yeah, I know that. Got it. Moving on. Forward. Turn that up. Don't go that way. Go this way. Hey, is the junction set for me this time? The junction appears to now be set for me. I am now allowed to leave the yard. I may proceed. Back to me. I'm going way too slow, so let's put a little speed on. Is that another train over there? No, it's just some cars sitting there. You're going to see cars sitting all over the place in some of these scenarios. Seeing AI traffic and other cars sitting in places all over the place is actually a really nice touch to show some life to the route. If you come to a scenario, like something you'll see sometimes in workshop scenarios and the like is is that there's not really any life on the route. There's no AI drivers. There's nothing else. And if you find something like that, it's going to be a pretty boring scenario. You're just going to be staring at a screen for an hour doing nothing but watch the sky ahead of you. There's no adverse signals, nothing to challenge you, just the speed limit once in a while that you have to follow. So scenarios that actually give some life to the route and put some things around you that you have to pay attention to, not watch for a sudden red signal somewhere. Those are the kind of scenarios you really like to play. Those are the fun scenarios. In fact, you might remember from the London, I think we did see the London to Brighton route now. One of the scenarios in the first 8 scenarios was actually a scenario where we had to go all the way to Brighton from London Victoria. There's another train, by the way. Let's take a quick look. 1026 is that guy. Beauty. So you may remember that we had to take that train all the way to London, to Victoria, or to Brighton from London Victoria. And it was a non-stop express service all the way. And you may remember we had yellows by the time, but before we even got to Clapham Junction, we already had yellows because the train we were following, we followed it all the way to Brighton. So having to stay in the yellow path behind, the yellow signals behind that train, made that scenario just that little bit more challenging and made it more interesting from a playing perspective. So that doesn't mean that I want to be chasing yellows in every single scenario. It gets tedious after a while, trust me. But just the fact that there is something unique in a scenario like that, or even just some AI traffic that you have to wait, that someone has to use your track coming in the other direction temporarily because something's wrong with the other track. There's a beautiful scenario like that on the Miami West Palm Beach route. I do want to show that scenario off when I do that route because that is a beautiful, beautiful situation. I'm not going to spoil it in case you're not familiar with it, but it's a scenario from 2015, I believe. And I know I saw Matt Pedalson playing that scenario himself on his channel, and he absolutely loved what he saw on that scenario. So if you're familiar with it, good. Don't spoil it for anyone else in the comments. But if you are not familiar with it, I think you're going to like this one. Because I was interested in watching this one. And very often, even with commentary, I can watch the scenario and find myself occasionally getting bored if there's not much going on. But that one, I was interested in watching that entire first half of the scenario. I kind of got bored after that, but, you know, it happens. Because at that point, he was mainly chatting with his chat at that point. Meanwhile, what I'm trying to do with these scenarios is I'm trying to keep you with me instead of talking to other people. Like, I'm not going to go into a Discord call and talk to other train simulator players about the route, or about what they're doing in their game, or about what they're doing. Well done, you're now clear of the yard. When the rear of the train, when the rear of your train is clear of the yard, you will notice the new speed limit in the driver's interface. Continue to receive further instructions. Roger. So, yeah, I'm not going to be just randomly talking to people about the weather in their neighborhoods or anything like that. I'm going to actually try to keep you with me the entire time and try and talk about what's going on around me, so I can keep you engaged with what's going on. So if this is your first time seeing my videos, again, it's my first Cajon Pass video, so I'm not surprised if that's the case. So if this is your first time, the scenario will end when you stop at the marker Lend Track 2 to allow a priority train to pass. They spelled it right this time. For now, enjoy the scenery. Roger. So I'm going to try to just talk about what's going on around me. So, for example, coming up, I do know I'm going to be coming in with 30. When I come out of the yard, I'm going to be coming in with 30 here again. I have a caboose. So I'm coming off the junction right now. That 30 should be starting probably by the orange mark, if not sooner. I should be getting into that junction speed right now. I think I'm out of the yard now. I could be mistaken. I should be gaining speed now anyway because I'm down at 13. So I'm going to gain speed anyway. There's the 30. We're going to move it up. So now that I'm able to pay attention to what's going on at the front of the train, notice the nice little parking lot down there. I don't know what that building is because if it's a trademark building, I probably don't want to advertise for them. Some kind of oil electricity plant here. See how far it is to your destination on the driver's interface. Ding! 3 miles. Allow plenty of time to brake and come to a complete stop with your train somewhere on the marker. I'm going to stop before the signal in this case, because it's actually at a signal. And there's more yards over here, so more yard tracks, so lots of track over here. Just a quick peek at the San Bernardino track while we're leaving. Look at all the yards over here. Barstow West Yard 1. There's the main track coming out to the Mojave area, I believe. If you head up here, that's Mojave. But way back here at the Barstow, you're going to notice there's more. This is the regular Barstow yard. We started here. And over here is the hump yard. And then even further over, we're in the east yard, which the route ends over here. You don't really go beyond here. Unless someone happens to have built an extension of the workshop and I haven't seen it yet. Otherwise, there's nothing over here. So we're going over the track to Mojave right now. There's a track going to the right off where we were. There's another track coming into the yard. And we're going to have another stub of this Mojave track coming to join us as well when we get to the other end of this triangle over here. So eventually the track's going to rejoin over here. Going to move the power line. There you go. You can see the track from Mojave now joining that track. We're going under a bridge, which, by the way, is some kind of interstate. Might be Route 66, but I think Route 66 is actually already to the left of us. And now there's the track I was just talking about joining over here. So now the track is joining us. It is now just a basic two-way track here. We have 2 miles to our destination. Again, I'm going to give myself plenty of time to slow down for the signal. So once I see the signal, I'm going to start to slow down. Once I see the marker. We may not get to 55 by the time we are now coming into that 55 zone, by the way. You see the sign on the HUD? So we may not actually get into the 55 here. Or we may not get to 55. Actually, we are going to get close to 55. We're actually going to be able to top out here, I think. Beautiful. So we're going to come to a stop from a full throttle situation here. There's another track going off to the side, by the way. That track, as you can see, just goes towards a stub here. There's nothing really there. In fact, if you want to see exactly what it is, it's some kind of plant with a home nearby. Look at that. Kind of a bit of a neighboring spot now. There's our stop spot up ahead. So I've taken the throttle off. I'm going to say I topped out, even though I'm at 54.5. I'm just going to say I topped it out. So I'm going to start slowing down a little bit now. We're a mile out, so that's a good slow down spot for a freight train. Now you can keep an eye on your freight comfort level by watching that green circle on this map. So you want to try not to jolt that too much. I don't like using that map though because it's a much better view on this one. You get the main information you still need. And most of the time, freight comfort level isn't really going to be an issue. I'll bring it back up for a moment though, just to show you that when you actually put the brakes on, that does jolt the comfort level a little bit though. So we're going to put some brakes on again now. And I thought I saw an imperceptible move. Not much of a move, but imperceptible one. Let's take another look outside the train here. Bit of a junkyard there. Lovely. Okay, I'm going to take the throttle, or the brakes rather, off. I don't have any throttle. I've now slowed down a little more than I wanted to here, so the marker's actually a little bit before the signal, so I'm going to go ahead and just make my stopping point like before. I'm going to make it on the marker, not on the signal itself, but on the marker, because it's in range of the signal. Now, the signal I do not believe is red. I think it actually is green, but supposedly we're still going to sit here and wait for a priority train. Unlike last time, which was a priority train, this one's apparently a priority train. He's apparently tailing through the TMT. We'll just wait for him. Brakes again. I'm too busy talking about the difference between priority and priority. So you can see it as a green signal. Oh well. I'll take the brakes off for a second so I can stop completely on the dot here. If I stop before the dot, it's not going to count. I'm going to have to take the brakes off and move forward again. There it is. We're done. So we're on the marker. Let's take a look outside at the train, shall we? In fact, let's take the HUD away. There's our entire train. There you go. Congratulations, you have completed the scenario. After the priority train passes, I'm doing the, if you're familiar with the double facepalm from Star Trek, I'm doing that right now. Okay, glasses back on. After the priority train passes, you'll continue, but that is for another time. I don't know where this priority train is, but apparently it's down the track somewhere. But anyway, there's our train. There's the end of the scenario. And there is just desert over there and houses and such. There's more track behind us. That's the track behind us. There we go. Okay, I'll stop zooming around the map and make you guys dizzy. So back to the end of the scenario. Report the details of how we did, which doesn't really have a lot to talk about. We stopped at one destination. We coupled to a bunch of cars. And that's really all we need to do. So we're done here. Oh, I did exceed freight level, apparently. Freight comfort level. Must have been on that last stop, because I didn't see it anywhere else. I was pretty good everywhere else, so it must have been on that last break there. In any case, that's the end of the scenario. That's the end of our journey here. So we're going to go ahead and continue next time with, I believe it's Thorn Reversal that we have to do. I think that's the 40-minute scenario. It's the one that's the 40-minute scenario that you saw at the start of the thing here. Let me actually find it. 1 second here. Alright, let's find it here. Yeah, Thorn Reversal. That's the 40-minute scenario. You're going to see that one here. Yeah, you saw Castle Rock under there. I do have the Train Simulator 2012 version if I haven't actually talked about that already. 2012 gave you a whole bunch of routes. 8 different routes included with it, including the 3 fictional routes. Castle Rock is one of those. So I do have the 2012 version. Unfortunately, I already bought the other 4 routes before I got this version, so I'm out about $20 because of that. Darn it. Anyway, Thorn Reversal is our next scenario that we're going to play here. After that, we're going to be moving over to Arriving East. After Arriving East, we're going to be moving to the 2 longer scenarios, which are Slow Climb South and the Splitter. That's the order we're going to be going in on this route. So make sure you stay tuned for Thorn Reversal next time. And as you can see, I showed off the yard specifically because I wanted to tell you about this other scenario. There is a scenario called Work on the Hump Yard. We're going to see an ST-70 Ace at some point. I'm assuming this is a much more simplified version of the ST-70 that we had at Sherman Hill. So again, we're going to have to deal with the much simplified version. And if I do anything special with this route, it's either going to be that or something with the SD40. I don't know which scenario I'm going to use yet. I'll see what they are. I'll figure them out. In any case, I will see you next time for Thorn Reversal. Until then, have a wonderful day, evening, or night, whatever it is for you, your part of the world. And I will see you next time for more Let's Play Train Simulator. I'm Cyclone. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel because I think I forgot to say that. So make sure you do those things. And see you next time. Bye-bye.